You know that moment, that huge crossroads in your life, when you have to figure out which turn leads to a successful career? Well, today, we're going to deconstruct one very specific and pretty compelling map that's being offered to students to answer that exact question. Let's dive right in. This is the big one, isn't it? You've just finished your 10th grade boards, and bam, suddenly everyone's asking, so what's next? The pressure is just immense, and not just on students, but on parents, too. It feels like this moment is packed with a million options, a ton of confusion, and you're just trying to make the perfect choice. And right into that chaos, a very clear answer often shows up.
And right on cue, here is one of those answers. The whole reason we're talking today is this brochure from a place called Defence&Junior College, and it lays out a very, very structured, super focused path that promises to be a gateway to some of the most sought-after careers in India.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about the challenge every student faces. Then, we'll see Dream's solution. We're going to do a deep dive into the defense career path they map out, compare their two main programs, check out what they call success, and then wrap it all up by asking if this kind of path is right for you.
Okay, first let's just set the scene. The years right after 10th grade in India, they're insanely competitive. I mean, we're talking about huge, high-stakes exams like the IIT-JEE for engineering and the NDA exam for the armed forces, where literally lakhs of students are fighting for just a few thousand spots.
So, look, it's not just about passing a test. It's about trying to cut through all the noise to find a reliable, stable path to a respected profession. In this kind of environment, it's no wonder students and parents are desperate for a system, a clear structure that can give them an edge. And that brings us right back to the solution that this brochure is pushing. Instead of trying to figure all this out on your own, Dream College is offering an all-in-one, super structured approach. Let's see what that actually means.
So on the surface, the offer is pretty simple. It's a junior college, right? But it combines your regular intermediate studies with intense coaching for all the big entrance exams. The really key part is that it's 100% residential. That means you live there, on campus, totally immersed in this prep world. And for anyone wondering, it's located in Karimnagar, Telangana.
All right, now we get to the real heart of their pitch, the pathway to a career in the Defense Forces. This is where their marketing gets incredibly specific and, honestly, quite impressive.
So the brochure lays out this pretty detailed flowchart. And I know, it looks complicated at first glance, but don't worry. It's basically just a map showing two different ways you can become an officer right after 12th grade. Let's break each one down.
Okay, path number one is the classic route, the one you've probably heard of, through the National Defense Academy. First up, you've got to pass the big written exam held by the UPSC. If you clear that hurdle, you're up against the really tough 5-day SSB interview and medical tests. Make it through that, and you're in. You're on your way to becoming a commissioned officer after some intense training.
Then there's route number two, the technical entry scheme. This one is all about your grades, specifically your 12th grade marks and how well you do on the JEE Mains engineering exam. After that, the process looks pretty similar. You still have the SSB interview and medicals, but the training that follows is specialized in engineering and military tech, setting you up to be an officer in a technical branch of the forces. Now here's the really clever part of their whole model. They don't just offer one way in. They package these options into two totally separate programs but on the same campus, and each one is designed for a different type of student. So the choice really boils down to this. On one hand, you've got the engineering and defense program. This is for the student who wants to keep their options open. You know, shoot for a top engineering college and a spot in the defense forces. But on the other side, there's the defense services program. This is for the student who has a single, laser-focused goal: join the armed forces, period. And that program puts a lot more emphasis on things like fitness and discipline. So what's the end game? What is the actual outcome this place is promising? The brochure is super clear about the picture of success it wants to paint in your mind. The very first thing that jumps out at you is this massive, bold number, 1,660 plus. This is their headline stat. It's the total number of students they claim have achieved their dreams through their programs. And that's a really powerful piece of marketing right there. And they really double down on this with some powerful aspirational language. Listen to this quote. "It's not just about getting a job. It's about getting nationwide recognition, a birthright for success, and even a passport to job satisfaction." Wow! They aren't just selling a career, they're selling status and a life of fulfillment. To make all that a bit more concrete, they talk money. They say a commissioned or technical officer can expect a starting salary between 80,000 and 1.2 lakh rupees a month. For someone just out of college, that is a very, very attractive number.
not to mention the job security and full benefits. They also give a nod to the Agniveer scheme, making sure to highlight the financial package you get at the end of your service.
So, how do they supposedly pull this off? Well, the brochure points to a few key things. First, it's about the people. Expert teachers from top schools like IITs and NITs, plus personalized attention. Then, it's about the process, a focus on what's worked in the past with tools like revision packs, analysis of old exam questions, and even their own scholarship test to get in.
Okay, so we've gone through the problem, the solution they're offering, the specific paths you can take, and the results they promise. Now, let's bring it all back to the one question that really truly matters.
At the end of the day, this brochure is just a map, a very detailed, very clear map to a specific destination, one that's all about security and prestige. But you know, the most important question isn't actually on the map at all. It's the one you have to ask yourself. Is that destination really where you want to go?